Hello everyone, and welcome back to the next installment of our 9.1 raid guides. This is Crzypck from Complexity Limit, and today we're going to show you how to kill the Remnants of Ner'zhul encounter in the Sanctum of Domination on Heroic. Remnants of Ner'zhul is a single phase encounter that'll ramp up over time. You'll be fighting Ner'zhul, breaking apart his armor. As pieces break off, the raid damage steadily increases. He'll also summon orbs that'll try to kill you, and you'll need to launch these orbs off the side of the platform. Let's start off by talking about the whole breaking armor thing. When the boss reaches 80%, 60%, and 30% health, he'll cast Shatter, dealing mild damage to the entire raid. While by itself this isn't a huge deal, it impacts another mechanic and stresses your healers as the fight progresses. The Shatter interacts with an ability called Aura of Spite, which deals ticking damage to the entire raid every 3 seconds. The damage of this encounter-long ticking increases each time a piece of armor is broken off. By the time you've got the boss below 30% health, this ticking damage is actually really starting to hurt, so your healers will probably need to start rotating cooldowns to keep the raid stable. Additionally, after the first piece of armor is broken off, the boss will also periodically cast Spite, throwing swirlies on the ground. Dodge the swirlies, don't stand in their explosion. Okay, on to the rest of the mechanics. Ner'zhul casts Malevolence, which puts a 21-second debuff on a random player. This debuff doesn't do anything until it's dispelled or expires. When that happens, it'll cause an explosion from the location of the affected player and knock the entire raid back from the explosion point. It'll also deal mild raid damage and leave a puddle of bad at the location of the explosion. You'll want to put 2 markers down, one at each end of the room, opposite each other. One affected player will run to the first marker, the whole raid moves towards that marker but not on it, then the first affected player gets dispelled. This will knock everybody in the raid back towards the opposite marker. Wait a few seconds for everyone to stabilize, then repeat, dispel the person with the second debuff, everyone gets knocked back. It'll probably take you a pull or two to get used to the strength of this knockback. Important note, if you are the player with the debuff, it knocks you backwards from the way you are facing. So, you'll want to make sure your back is towards the center of the room. Grasp of Malice will put several lines on the floor coming from the center, extending to the edge. These are super obvious looking and they explode after a few seconds. Anyone hit takes a chunk of damage, and honestly, you're probably going to have a VOD of the spectacular fail uploaded to Twitter for everyone to make fun of you. The boss will periodically summon an Orb of Torment, a little floating ad. These start with a buff called Eternal Torment, reducing their damage taken by 99%. They'll also cast an ability called Torment, applying a shadow damage dot to several players that lasts 15 seconds. So, if these take 99% reduced damage, how the heck do you kill them? Do you just ignore them and tell the healers that it's their problem? Well, you can, but no, that's not what you're supposed to do. The boss's last ability is called Suffering and is cast whenever he reaches 100 energy. This is a giant frontal laser beam aimed at the current tank and shooting straight across the platform from where the boss is, hitting anything in its path. That anything includes the Orbs of Torment, and when an orb is hit by the laser, they lose their Eternal Torment buff and start taking full damage. Your tanks will need to ensure anytime there's an orb up that the laser hits the orb. As far as the tanks are concerned, you'll need to swap after each cast of Suffering, as it puts a debuff on you, making you take 500% increased damage from subsequent sufferings for 40 seconds. Important to note, the orbs do not stop casting Torment when they die. Instead, they can be clicked and picked up. Picking up an orb gives you an extra action button to yeet the thing, so have an assigned person you trust grab the orb, walk to the edge of the platform, and lob the thing off the edge. Overall, this is honestly a fairly straightforward fight. You'll want to tank the boss near the middle of the room with the raid loosely spread. Pop Bloodlust after the third shatter when the boss is at 30% health, as this is the most intense part of the fight. Malevolence should be dropped along the edges of the platform, with the raid leader calling for dispels when the affected player is in position. Orbs need to get laser beamed, then killed, then lobbed off the platform. Don't get hit by the laser unless you're the tank being targeted. Don't stand in swirlies, don't stand in lines of bad on the floor. Nuke boss, pad your DPS as much as possible using the orbs, and take down this boss for your shiny new purples. If you enjoyed this guide, remember to like it and make sure you're subscribed to the channel to catch all of our previews, guides, kill videos, and more. From the team here at Complexity Limit, have a great day and we'll see you next time.